Hey Eagle fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into Philadelphia Eagles Now, here on a Monday with plenty of really weird and interesting Eagles news and rumors. Before we start though, we are literally like less than 50 subscribers away from 18,000 total subs here on the channel. A lot of new people coming in post NFL draft. Welcome. If you are new, go ahead and go down below and hit that red subscribe button. That way you get the notifications and of course the videos into your sub box whenever something happens regarding your Philadelphia Eagles. All right, let's jump into the latest Eagles news and rumors here today on a Monday, and there is a lot going on and a lot of weird stuff that's going on. And we'll start with the weird, right? So you remember how the whole Deshaun Watson Eagle thing was brewing and brewing before the NFL draft, and then I kept saying, guys, it's obviously not going to happen. All the legal issues, not going to happen. Well, now we're post-NFL draft. Watson still is a Houston Texan. He still has ongoing legal issues, and yet Peter King has a new article out today, or at least over the weekend, talking about how the Eagles remain at the top of his list of future Deshaun Watson trade destinations. And you just sit back and you go, goodness gracious, the top of the list, we're still talking about Deshaun Watson. But yes, alas, here we are. Now, he did mention that a trade would probably not happen until 2022 based on the current legal stuff, which again is all being worked out and handled and is going through all the legal processes, so not really going to comment on that. But obviously, that's going to take time. And so a trade wouldn't be like tomorrow. A trade would most likely happen if he gets cleared of all legal charges. The NFL allows him to play football. Then you could see a 2022 trade being a possibility. And of course, Philadelphia top of the list for multiple reasons. One being the unknown factor, at least from some people, not myself, but some people on Jalen Hurts and his future as a starting quarterback. And of course, the fact that Philadelphia will most likely have 3 first-round draft picks next year. As long as Carson Wentz plays 70% of the snaps, the Eagles will have 3 first-round draft picks and of course could use some of those theoretically. Go ahead and trade for Deshaun Watson. Now, I think this is ridiculous. I'll talk about that here in a second, but first, we'll get Peter King's thoughts on this whole situation. You see that up on your screen right now. Quote, it's impossible to predict the future with so many legal issues involved, and depending on the outcome of the cases, several teams might not want to even think about Watson, and rightfully so. If he's free to play football unencumbered by legal issues in 2022, here are my odds on Watson's next football team with a tie at the top, 3-1. Philadelphia, a likely need, plus Eagles are in perfect position to deal with three first-round draft picks if Carson Wentz plays 3/4 of the Indy season, end quote. Now, before I get into my thoughts on this, give me your answer. Will Hurts be the starting quarterback in 2022? That's really the question here. If he's great next year, not even a thought on Deshaun Watson. If he's bad next year, then maybe this becomes a possibility. Do you think he will be the quarterback going into the 2021 NFL season? Type 1 and below for yes, type N down below for no. Now, the only way, in my opinion, that you would ever consider a Deshaun Watson trade, and this is obviously assuming that the legal issues clear themselves up, because I don't see right now how he was even going to play in the future in the National Football League, but that's yet to be seen. A new quarterback is in play if Hurts stinks. Now, again, Hurts has to stink. He has to be awful next year, to the point of being benched at some point during the 2021 NFL season for, I guess, Joe Flacco or maybe even Jamie Newman to even consider drafting a quarterback or, in this case, trading for Deshaun Watson. So, likely, it's not going to happen because I'm one of the big Hurts believers right now. I've been pumping Hurts more than Elon Musk has been pumping Dogecoin the past couple of weeks. I feel really, really great about Jalen Hurts going into this season. So, the only way that you would even think about Watson post-legal stuff, again, because right now it doesn't look like he's going to be playing anytime soon, would be if Hurts is going to be absolutely terrible going forward. And most Eagle fans should hope that is not the case, right? If you have to trade away your 3 first-round draft picks next year for a quarterback or spend multiple first-round draft picks to trade up to draft a quarterback, then the Eagles' rebuild gets reset again. The hope is that Hurts plays great, that he dominates next year. The Eagles win 7, 8, 9, 10 games, but Hurts looks like a really good, obviously, future quarterback. And then you spend 3 first-round draft picks on massive needs, like cornerback, for instance. Could be a big-time need, a great cornerback draft coming up in 2022. And so this whole Deshaun Watson stuff, I want to put it to bed. I thought we did put it to bed weeks ago. And yet here we are again with Peter King, typing away at his keyboard for the Monday morning quarterback saying that the Eagles remain at the top of the list. Stop. It's not going to happen. Watson has his own off-the-field issues that has to be dealt with first. It looks like right now he's just going to remain a Texan, but more than likely not be playing in the future if I had to put my money on what is eventually going to go ahead and happen. So we'll see. But right now, Hurts, obviously the guy, we all should be hoping that he plays really, really well. That way you spend those 3 first-round draft picks on need at positions or positions of need, not on another quarterback. Okay, before we go ahead and keep going, and make sure you guys are subscribed for more free videos, right? Every single video you watch here on this channel, completely free to you. The only cost is hitting the subscribe button, which takes like 4 seconds, right? Like do it with me. Like scroll down. Okay, click, boom, you're sub. What is that, like 3 seconds? Very simple. Trying to get to 18,000 subscribers here on the channel. I really appreciate if you guys go ahead and hit that red subscribe button down below, as we, of course, have the latest breaking Eagles news and rumors. Okay. let's jump into a quick draft recap, as we did a draft recap. Right? You say, Thomas, why are we doing this again? Well, I was scamming through all of the different, draft experts out there, and they all released their grades about which team did well and which team didn't. And a lot of people are mixed on Philadelphia. There are some C pluses, there are some B minuses, some B pluses. However, Daniel Jeremiah, who's the lead draft expert for the NFL Network, he gave Philadelphia an A+ draft grade, and I read that like over the overall draft, an A+, and I said, "Woo, I want to talk about this. Let's see why Daniel Jeremiah thinks the Eagles did so great." Because if you remember my grade video, wasn't that thrilled with what Philadelphia did post Devontae Smith there in the first round. One of the main reasons why, of course, he loves, and that's the NFL Network's Daniel Jeremiah, why he loves the Eagles draft, because the Eagles drafted 7 of the top 150 players. Sorry, 7 of their draft picks out of the total 9 were top 150 players on Daniel Jeremiah's list. So obviously, he's going to go ahead and like the Eagles draft. Here was his quote on the Eagles draft here, and we'll throw it up on the screen right now. Quote, "I'll give the Eagles an A+ with what they're able to get accomplished, including that first pick in Devontae Smith. You look back at last year, Jalen Reagor wasn't healthy, didn't have a big year. Trust the board, take the best player. They did that, and I think they got some other starters along the way, including a sleeper in Zach McPherson," end quote. I hope he's right. I mean, time will tell with this draft. This is a draft that, to me, wasn't really thrilled about based on the needs that they took at different positions. I always talk about draft grades and draft boards in terms of, you look at the first 2 rounds, those 2 matter, because those 2 players should be at least competing for a starting job their first year, because the first 2 rounds of the NFL draft, they got to get some good players. After that, rounds 3 through 7, I basically nullify them until they prove me wrong, because all of those guys, no matter where you're taken, 3 through 7, are wild cards. I mean, there's no guarantee that any of them are going to be good, and yet all of them could be good because there are good players coming out of the NFL draft in different rounds every single year. So I can't really get my head around some of their draft picks, like a Landon Dickerson in round 2, which is not a need right now, could be a need in the future, but you want to get a big need in the second round, that way he can play immediately, and then maybe a D tackle in the third round. Williamson was kind of strange to me as well, so I was not thrilled overall about the Eagles draft. I thought cornerback should have been a lot higher up on their list. I didn't want to wait their 4th overall draft pick to go ahead and take a guy like Zach McPherson, who to me struggles in coverage a lot. You watch the film at Texas Tech, but if Daniel Jeremiah likes him, then maybe we can all grow to like him if he can go ahead and compete for a starting spot. So again, I wanted to bring up this article here, and I think the overall list from Daniel Jeremiah, because it was one of the few that gave him a perfect grade. I mean, an A+ is a perfect score overall for Philadelphia, and I think that we can get some positivity going forward for some of the Eagle fans, maybe like myself, who weren't super thrilled about the Eagles draft immediately after it was finished. Now, drop a like if you guys still like the Eagles draft. A lot of you guys were in love with it from the very start, and I respect that. I think I'm growing to like it right now. If you guys agree with me that this was a good Eagles draft, give the video a thumbs up down below right now. Before we get into our final story here, which is a really good one, talking about the Eagles running back situation, I want you guys to go ahead and help out our friends at Newsbreak in terms of downloading their app and getting the latest, not only Eagles news, but local news content delivered directly to your iPhone or Android device. So the Newsbreak app provides the local relevant content that you crave, all in a very simple news feed, and you can do it and get it for any part of the United States. So if you're in Philadelphia or Delaware County or Bucks County, whatever it is, you put your zip code into the Newsbreak app, and it'll give you relevant news that you can then follow and get updates on every single day. You can like Philadelphia Inquirer, NJ.com, 6ABC, like all in one single feed. And you can also follow us, Eagles Now by Chat Sports, by, of course, going to or downloading the Newsbreak app and then searching Eagles Now by Chat Sports. To download the app for your Android or iPhone device, all you gotta do is search chatsports.com/EaglesNB at the bottom of your screen right now, and you can get it, of course, for Android and iPhone. It's also linked down below in the description box. So go ahead and download the Newsbreak app and follow us, Eagles by Chat Sports, Eagles Now by Chat Sports, for the latest Eagles updates, news, and rumor videos. Let's get into our final story here as we jump back into some more Eagles news and rumors. And this happened over the weekend, but I still wanted to go ahead and mention it because it was a big deal. The Eagles have added to their running back depth chart again. And I'm telling you, the Eagles running back depth chart, which wasn't a massive hole on their roster because Miles Sanders is great, but it definitely was a slight need that wasn't talked about a lot going into the draft. Well, it's gotten a lot better, especially after the Friday edition of Kerryon Johnson, the former Lion running back they claimed off of the waiver wire just a couple of days ago. So again, it's older news, but it's still very relevant news. We haven't gotten to talk about it yet. Johnson was a second-round draft pick of the Lions back in 2018. He had some knee issues, looked really good, and then last year played in all 16 games, just didn't play a lot, only had 56 carries because they, of course, drafted DeAndre Swift out of Georgia and were using Adrian Peterson as a running back number 2. So they are getting a young, former highly drafted running back with very little work on his overall body. I mean, the workload was nothing last year, and he was healthy the entire year. And so he's played in 34 games, but only had 283 carries. Like, the stat list you see right now is what you would expect a running back to have in one season, and he was drafted two or three drafts ago. So the Eagles have added to this depth chart, and I honestly sit back and go, this is great. Look at this Eagle running back depth chart. Obviously, Sanders is number one. No one's taking away reps from Miles Sanders. You put Kerryon Johnson 2. You got Boston Scott. You drafted Kenny Gainwell, who was a steal in the 5th round, and you added Jordan Howard, who might get cut, but still, you added him. This is incredible. The Eagles' running back core is strong, and it went from being, I think, exciting because Miles Sanders is very exciting, but a little bit worrisome because of the injuries that he's had, and Boston Scott's filled in, but obviously not necessarily a running back number one by his own, any sort of standard, to being a very strong group. I mean, this is a group that you can rotate guys in there and have a serious rushing attack. If the offensive line stays healthy and they can mix these guys in and share the load, absolutely fantastic. I love the Johnson addition. Again, a guy who is not necessarily coming over here following a fantastic season in Detroit or even a career in Detroit, but he's been able to stay healthy recently and has not had a big workload. You can have a fresh body in there who can be a pounder to go ahead and complement Miles Sanders and complement Kenny Gainwell as well out of the backfield. So I'm pumped for that. We'll see what happens with Boston Scott and Jordan Howard. You can't keep all 5 of these guys. At least I don't think you can. But these are going to be some good competitions to keep an eye on going into training camp. I'll finish on this. More yards in 2021. Who has more, J for Johnson or S down below for Scott? I think it's going to be Kerryon Johnson, but never count out Boston Scott, who, of course, saved the Eagles multiple times in terms of past games, especially the Giants games the past couple of years. So we appreciate him. But who do you think has more yards in 2021? Let me know down below in the comments section. All right, ultimate for today here at Philadelphia Eagles Now. Again, make sure you guys are subscribed as we push for 18,000 subs here, which is only 2K away from 20,000. So we're getting closer and closer. Again, be sure to subscribe. Ultimately for today here on the channel. I'm Thomas Mott signing off. Enjoy the rest of your day.